Tonight on Channel 6 News at 6, a frustrated family puts out a newspaper ad to find information on their son's murder. Plus, local teachers talk about guns in schools. Then, meet the doctors who saved Kenton Stacy's life.
And I'll be coming to you from our Rudy's Party on the Patio in Killeen with our forecast and the weekend outlook.
Channel 6 News at 6 starts right now. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Doug Curran.
And I'm Leslie Draffin. We begin tonight in Waco, where a mother is pleading with the community, desperate for answers in her son's death.
Her 19-year-old son, Tony Rivera, was shot and killed on Park Street in Waco in October. Channel 6 News reporter Imani Payne joins us now with details. Hi, Imani.
Doug and Leslie, I spoke with the victim's mother, Michelle Andrade, earlier today. She says the past 4 months have been devastating, but she's hoping answers will bring closure. At the time of Rivera's death, police said they believe the shooting was connected to another shooting later that same night back in October, but no new details have been released since then. Rivera's mother, Michelle, says it's been difficult to go on without her child, especially because it's unclear who shot him and why, but she says she won't rest until justice is served.
I was crying out to God, walking up and down my street. I mean, I remember those days. We want justice for Tony because Tony was the person to help others, and we want someone to come out to help us at this point.
She goes on to say she plans to keep her son's memory alive by holding a balloon release and talking about him with family. Waco police say the investigation is still active. And coming up after the Olympics, you'll hear much more from the mother as she discusses gun violence and why it's critical she gets the answer she needs before it's too late. Doug and Leslie.
All right, Imani, thank you very much. It is time now for a first check of the weather. We could see more fog and drizzle tonight.
Chief Meteorologist Andy Anderson's live at the Rudy's in Killeen for his party on the patio. Hey, Andy.
Okay. Oh, man. Wild group here today for our party on the patio. So good to have you along with us as well. Another cold night. We'll talk more about our party on the patio a little bit later in this newscast. I want to get you up to date on the weather situation around the area. A lot of moisture still in place, cool temperatures. I think it's a good likelihood we're going to see some fog, reducing visibilities before the night is over with. You saw a live look from downtown Temples, a very low deck of clouds across the area. We're not seeing a lot of precipitation, but I am seeing a few little freckles showing up on the radar across Bell County over into the area around Cameron and then back up into Falls County and Limestone County as well. Most activity is just kind of slow moving out of the southwest back towards the northeast. You get maybe a 1/10 of an inch of rain, if that much. In most cases, just trace amounts, really. 37 in Hamilton and Gatesville right now. 41 in Georgetown, 41 in Cameron at this hour. As we go through this Thursday night, temperatures should actually warm up a little bit as we get into the later evenings. We'll see a little rain in the forecast for us, and the rain clouds will actually release a little energy, and that'll help warm things up at least by a degree or two. It's still going to be a cold, very wet, damp evening for us tonight in Central Texas. We'll have complete details about the forecast and the weekend outlook coming up, as well as our Rudy's Party on the Patio. That's later in the news.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. Midway Middle School and Killeen ISD are assuring parents threats circulating on social media today about alleged violence are not true and parents have nothing to worry about. We want to remind everyone making a terrorist threat of this nature is a third-degree felony and it's punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Authorities at every level are taking these threats very seriously. The Florida school shooting has reignited the debate about gun control and school safety. So Channel 6 decided to find out what your local representatives think about the issue.
We got several U.S. representatives to weigh in today. Channel 6 News reporter Andrew Moore tells us what all they had to say. Hey, Andrew.
Doug and Leslie, we reached out to Congressman Bill Flores, John Carter, and Roger Williams to see what they thought about regulating guns or making schools safer. Congressman Carter told us enforcing the laws on the books and sufficiently investigating warning signs are imperative steps to preventing these violent acts. I remain open to addressing this issue while ensuring that law-abiding citizens' constitutional rights are not infringed. Congressman Flores told us last year, the House passed a bill to improve public safety by strengthening the reporting requirements of the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. It is time the Senate act to pass this important legislation. I also support President Trump's recent actions to overturn the Obama administration's ill-advised actions, which exempted bump stocks from licensure. When we spoke to Congressman Roger Williams on the phone, he had this to say.
I don't know that banning these is going to be a solution. I mean, I think that most people will agree that bad people do bad things, and this availability of weapons, they're going to get it whether it's banned or not.
Congressman Williams also told me Congress should take money from the Department of Education to better defend schools. See each congressman's full response later tonight at KCENTV.com. Doug and Leslie.
All right, thanks, Andrew. And with the recent push for more school protection, we have seen one idea repeated on social media: teachers arming themselves. But we wanted to know what teachers actually think about this. So last night we held a forum in our studio to ask local teachers whether or not they believe this is the best idea. These educators all agree they would do anything to keep their students safe. However, most would like to see more resources on campus, like funding for armed security guards, as well as more concrete action now rather than later. You can watch the entire discussion on our KCEN Facebook page. In tonight's Military Matters, we're learning more about the life-saving measures used to save Navy Chief Petty Officer Kenton Stacy's life after he was injured in an IED blast last November.
Stacy is in Houston right now at the spinal cord rehab program at Tier Memorial Hermann. Channel 6 military reporter Jillian Angeline has exclusive interviews with some of the medical professionals who helped save him downrange. Jillian.
Doug and Leslie, combat medical professionals tell me Stacy survived the unsurvivable. Colonel Jennifer Gurney was with Chief Petty Officer Stacy for 49 hours as he underwent multiple surgeries, and she made the one phone call she claims saved his life.
Kenton, if he wasn't a complete specimen of health before all this happened, he would have really unlikely survived all of his injuries.
Injuries so severe.
He lost about 6 inches of his trachea.
His lungs suffered severe damage from the force of the IED and blasted fragments.
If it had gone any more lateral, it would have decapitated him.
This according to Army Combat Surgeon Colonel Jennifer Gurney, but that's just a couple parts of the massive trauma he sustained to his spine, leg, and eyes too. Gurney remembers that day well.
I kept hearing that he was coding and not coding, and I thought, gosh, if he has a chance, if he can get here, I was just praying, like, I hope he can get to Baghdad. If he can make it to Baghdad, I think he's got a good chance.
In 43 hours, Kenton underwent about 13 surgeries.
So he had everything going against him in terms of getting oxygen to his other organs. The other organs, the brain, the heart, the kidneys, everything else, because his trachea was disrupted.
As soon as she saw the number, she walked out of the room and made the call to get the world-renowned burn flight team from San Antonio.
This was probably the game changer in Kenton's care.
The burn flight team has a heart-lung bypass machine called ECMO, which helped keep Stacy stable for the 31-hour trip back to the States.
Gurney? He said, is this Gurney? I said, yes. I said, I need ECMO in Baghdad, and I need it quick.
The Navy EOD tech processed more than 40 units of blood from the time of the injury to his U.S. return. Captain Sarah Matthews was in the lab during the life-saving blood collection process.
Chaos is the perfect word.
Now, back in January, during his State of the Union, President Donald Trump recognized Staff Sergeant Justin Peck for bounding into the booby trap building and opening Stacy's airways, saying Stacy would have died if it weren't for Peck's quick action. Doug and Leslie, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jillian. Chip and Joanna Gaines' restaurant, Magnolia Table, is opening soon, but the location is causing traffic concerns for some businesses in the area. Magnolia Table sits on Waco's traffic circle near Rudy's Barbecue. At this week's City Council meeting, a discussion was held to consider adding a LaSalle Avenue transit route because the limited parking and safety concerns at the circle. People would hop on a shuttle, which would bring them from downtown to LaSalle. One business owner says the shuttle would be good for business.
Magnolia Market, when it opened, the last few years our business has doubled. So with Magnolia Table, I see that bringing a ton of business to LaSalle and the surrounding area, with Magnolia Table being right there on the circle.
And there is a second route option that would take I-35 frontage road to the circle. The LaSalle Avenue Transit would be on a 3-month trial basis and would cost Waco $82,000.
Still ahead, have you noticed a difference in your take-home pay yet? The changes one local family sees after the new tax law.
And we are live to the magic of television. Rudy's Barbecue with our party on the patio I have your weather forecast next. Stay with us.